Well, we're back. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Williamson County. So this is until 10:30. We've been watching the line as it's been coming down from the northwest. This is the one we were talking about in Kentucky a little while ago on our last broadcast. And so it is arriving, and it is arriving with some wind gusts with it, according to TBNA radar. We'll look at that here in just a second. But let's take a look at where this warning is and who it covers. So the yellow polygon here is a severe thunderstorm warning. It does not cover most of you. So most of you are excluded from this warning if you're in Davidson and Williamson counties. Now, if you're in Fairview, or if you are in Craigfield, or some of those communities down there in the west side of Williamson County, Blakemont Estates, Liberty Hill, Fairview High School, you are included in the warning. So this is a warning in effect until 10:30 for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and maybe some small hail. So that's for this line here. Now we're going to switch over to a different radar and take a look at what we're looking at here. So these are the strong winds. So Weather Service notes that they're showing 50 to 60-mile-per-hour winds moving across Dixon County at the moment, including Dixon and Charlotte, and tree and power line damage is possible there. So you see these blues. These blues right here are winds up 60-plus miles per hour. And right here we're looking at winds at about 67 possibly. And the radar hasn't lied tonight. The radar has been pretty accurate as far as noting where the strongest winds are. We saw earlier a microburst that dropped right there in the Creve Hall area, just north of Brentwood along Franklin Road and I-65. Trees uprooted, and it's exactly where the radar showed it was. All right, so we're taking the radar pretty seriously tonight as far as where the strongest winds are. And right now it's showing that they are right here along Highway 48 north out of Charlotte, excuse me, going out of Dixon, the north part of Dixon County there. That's where the strongest winds are. So this is diving down to the southeast toward Davidson and Williamson counties. Now, currently, only Williamson is included in the warning. That could change over time. So here we go again. All right. So if you're outside, you need to get inside. If you're in Davidson, really Davidson or Williamson counties. And let's go over and look at different radar. All right, let's zoom out just a little bit. Still a lot of lightning in downtown. All right, we're seeing a lot of lightning downtown back to the northwest from a different storm that is not warned. It is not severe currently. This is a storm that's in downtown Nashville and just back to the west around Bells Bend and the Nations, North Nashville, areas like that. That's not the storm we're talking about. The storm we're talking about is back here in Dixon County right now, and it's hauling down to the southeast. It's moving pretty fast at about 50 miles per hour. All right, so if it's moving at 50 miles per hour, let's kind of time this out, all right? So let's go over here to this radar, and we're going to just kind of give it a loose timing here over the next 30 minutes. We'll see if that goes out far enough. All right, so this will be for the severe part of the storm. This is not for lightning and all that, because that's really existing across most of our area now. This is for sort of the severe part of the storm. So 50 miles per hour, that gets it to about I-40 in Charlotte around 10:30. So that's about the time the warning expires, all right? So we're going to have to see if they extend this warning to the east, if it holds together. And that's going to be right at about the 10:30 time. But the storm, nonetheless, looks to kind of affect the western subdivisions, neighborhoods, communities in western Williamson County at about 10:30. Looks like it'll be around Fairview somewhere around 10:20. And then the western part of Davidson County about 10:30. And that's at that point we'll know whether they're going to extend the warning into Davidson County or not. But just a heads up for you, if you're in Davidson, that's what we are looking at right now. So severe thunderstorm warning. If you're just joining us, this is for Williamson County, and that's just the western side of Williamson County. So this is not including Franklin, not including Brentwood, not saying it won't later, but at the moment this only includes Fairview and the communities up and down Highway 100 there around 840 down in western Williamson County. So this is exactly where we're looking at. Blakemont Estates, Brush Creek, Liberty Hill, Chester Estates, the Highway 100 exit there on Interstate 840, Craigfield, those areas like that. So you folks are the ones that are included in the severe thunderstorm warning. But if you're not in it right now, don't let your guard down. All right, that could change later. This thing expires at 10:30. At 10:30, there may be a new box out that includes Nashville, Franklin, areas like that. So we're not done for the night. Sorry to say, we're not done for the night. This looks like it's going to be continuing for a little while, at least. All right, let's go over to the other radar here again. This box in effect till 10:30. We're going to keep an eye on that. Right now in Nashville, though, there is a storm that's non-severe at the moment, but is dropping a lot of lightning, okay? So we're going to take the Midtown camera again. We've taken it a few times, and honestly, there's lightning hitting really all around this camera once again. And I'm looking on radar over here, and just in the past couple of minutes, the thing has been just come within about a quarter mile of being hit like 4 or 5 times here. So quite a bit of lightning right there around the Midtown camera. And that is similar to what we've seen over the past several hours. We're getting a lot of pictures in from earlier tonight from the really awful weather that moved across Metro, and that moved across really all of the venues that we had some big events at tonight. And so sorry to say that all has changed a lot of plans tonight, but that's the way the weather goes. It just has a way of doing that. Let's go back to the radar here, and let's see why we're here. Why we're here is this warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that's in the yellow box. The red box is just for our lightning purposes. So don't worry about the red box. That has no meaning to anybody but us, as we're kind of getting a feel for the lightning situation. That's kind of where we have some high resolution lightning data there. So the box to really be concerned about is the yellow severe thunderstorm warning. That means that winds to 60 miles per hour are possible inside the yellow polygon, which includes Fairview and down to the south. Let's go look at radar again, velocity mode here. We're going to take a look at where the strongest wind gusts are. And really all up and down the line here, there's pockets of what could be some very strong gusty winds. Right around Burns there in Dixon County, just east of Dixon, right there around, that's County Highway 1849. If anybody in Davidson or Williamson County knows where that is, that's right where the strong wind is there in eastern Dixon County. And that's right near, should be coming into White Bluff here in just a little bit. So some rough weather there, and that's diving down to the southeast and should affect both counties if it holds together over the next couple of hours. And as I mentioned earlier with the lightning situation in Midtown, I'm watching the camera over here off to the side, and it is just gnarly. Once again, some some very close lightning strikes there on the Midtown camera. So downtown has kind of disappeared there from the view. Well, there it is. Every once in a while, you kind of get a view of it, but boy, the rain's heavy down there. In fact, let me mention this: we do have, I believe, a flood advisory out for Davidson. Yeah, flood advisory for Cheatham, Davidson, Robertson, Sumner. So there is a flood advisory out for Davidson, and that's going to be Doppler radar indicated heavy rain due to thunderstorms ongoing across the area. Radar estimates are there between 1 and 3 inches of rain have fallen, and minor flooding is expected to begin shortly there in the advisory area. So that includes you folks in Goodlettsville, Ashland City, Nashville, Madison, areas like that. So, the Weather Service is not going to mess around with this heavy rain. They're going to go ahead and get advisories out and that sort of thing. In fact, they just now noted, as we were talking, rainfall totals are stacking up there in the advisory area we were just talking about, which includes Davidson County. So if you have reports of flooding, let us know about that. The Weather Service would be very interested to know if you're having flooding issues. So if you could tweet using hashtag TSpotter, that's how you get reports to us and to the Weather Service. And you have any reports of flooding, as you can see, just torrential rainfall falling there in Midtown. And it's a mess out there. So back to radar here. If you have any reports of flooding, or you see flooding, anything like that, if you could safely send us a picture, maybe it's kind of dark outside, but if you can safely send us a picture, and your location especially. Kind of describe where the flooding is and let us know about it. Tweet using hashtag TSpotter. The Weather Service, I know, would be very interested in that report. If you have any creeks coming out of their banks, anything like that, we kind of know how that goes around here, unfortunately. So if that's happening where you are, let us know. Let the Weather Service know. That'll help warn others. We don't want anybody not getting the message about the weather tonight. So we want to be sure that anybody who needs to be warned is certainly warned. All right. Let's talk about these winds coming in. Let me take us over to a different radar here. Let's go over to, this is TBNA out of Nolensville. It's done a great job tonight. It has detected several areas of nasty winds, and it looks like it's doing that again for us. So we got a couple of areas, at least by radar, that that is showing some pretty gnarly winds. Right here around Burns, this is in southeastern Dickson County. So these bright blues here, disregard the purple, but the blues here around Burns, that's a pretty significant wind gust there. And that's diving down to the southeast toward Fairview. All right, so keep an eye on that. You Fairview folks, you Western Williamson County folks, could be some really gusty winds there headed down on the south part of this polygon into Western Williamson County here in the next 5-10 minutes. Looks like another area of gusty winds just east of Charlotte, and that's going to be up here in Dickson County. It looks like velocity is generally coming down a little bit as the we're looking lower in the storm as the radar is looking lower in the storm as it gets closer. But we are looking at maybe some 60-mile-per-hour winds there just east of Charlotte. So that has a little bit of ways to go yet before it gets here to Davidson County. But that'll be kind of generally moving toward Kingston Springs and into southwestern Davidson County. But looking more along, that'll probably 15, 20 minutes before that happens. So we'll see if it holds up. But really the main area I'm watching is this right here, just east of Burns, and there's your new radar scan there. Still looking at possibly some 50, 60-mile-per-hour winds around Spencer Mill Road there in southeastern Dickson County. And that, it looks to be coming into Liberty Hill, Cox Run, Chester Estates, Fairview High School, and right there in downtown Fairview. So that could be diving southeast and affect areas of Highway 100 and Fairview here in the next 10 minutes. So that's kind of the primary area of pretty decent winds we're watching right now. Let's see here. Jump over to this radar. This is the Weather Service radar. Shows it a little bit. Still shows that area. Not quite as pronounced, but it looks like we do have some gusty winds there around Highway 96 that goes between Burns and Western Williamson County. All right. Let's back out a little bit. We're going to go over here. We got just a little bit, just a few minutes before that wind arrives in Williamson County. So I tell you, let's just talk real quick about that because we don't have a lot of time before that gets to Williamson County. You don't want to be outside in Western Williamson County. You can see who's involved in the warning polygon here. Everybody to the left of this yellow line here is included in the severe thunderstorm warning. That's Fairview, Blakemont Estates, Craigfield, some of the neighborhoods in here, Fairview High School, Chester Estates, Liberty Hill, the Highway 100 exit. Everybody here needs to prepare for some pretty gusty winds that are coming out of this part of the storm. So this is here on the southern part of the storm around Highway 96 and I-40, and that's pushing down to the southeast. It's diving down pretty quickly to the southeast, and that looks to be where the strongest wind is. So we're looking at that diving southeast toward Fairview here, but you guys are included in that severe thunderstorm warning. And I tell you, if you live in Kingfield or if you live in, that would be like south of the Natchez Trace Bridge, Fernvale, Garrison Springs, Pinewood Road, Boston, areas like that, I'd keep an eye on this off to the northwest. You're not currently included in the warning, but if this area of strong winds continues diving southeast, you guys could have some pretty strong winds out in the especially in the wooded areas where there's a lot of trees. We've had a lot of tree damage tonight. These are the types of winds that if they get up under these trees and blow real hard, it can cause some tree damage. We've had some uprooted trees up and down Franklin Road in the Creve Hall and Tyne Boulevard areas of Oak Hill from a microburst near Radnor Lake earlier. Caused quite a bit of damage, we understand. So this is the type of winds that will down some trees and take branches off. So keep that in mind. You don't want to be outside, anything like that. You want to be in a pretty good, sturdy structure. Looks like the Weather Service is going to extend the severe thunderstorm warning eastward, and that'll be both counties included in that. And it looks like the worst of the winds they're noting, same thing we were talking about there, but the worst of the winds kind of going through Fairview and maybe eventually over to Franklin. So heads up, Franklin. Here's the Weather Service radar. This is their view of it. Let me pull that up for you and show you that. Weather Service radar shows that view, the heaviest winds there on the southeastern side of Dixon County, and that's going to be coming into Williamson County in a matter of minutes. And as that crosses Highway 100 in Fairview, could be pretty gusty. And also, that'll move down through South Harpeth and Old Highway 96 over to the Fernvale, Kingfield areas, and over to Hargrove Road, Leapers Fork, and maybe on into Franklin. All right, so a new warning will come out that'll cover that. Some pretty gusty winds on the south side of this warning that'll kind of move to the southeast. Busy night tonight. We got a lot going on. We got this severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 10:30. And then it looks like we probably will have another warning come out here in just a few minutes that will cover even more area than that for us, and as this next round of storms comes through. All right, let's go back to reflectivity. This is sort of our traditional radar view, and we have a long ways to go yet. We got this looks like to be the last line of storms come through, but it could cause some flooding problems and maybe some wind problems. So let's go back in time a little bit and sort of play this through, and you can see this line of storms pushing to the south and to the southeast. We hope it doesn't hang around long. The longer it hangs around, the more of a flooding problem we could have, and we don't need that. So let's hope this moves on out of here. We check out TBNA. Looks like our new warning's coming out. There it is right there. So let's go over to TBNA. You got your new warning polygon here. We'll talk about it in just a second, but basically it includes almost all of Williamson County, and then about this roughly the southwestern half of Davidson County, from Brentwood up to about the 440 Loop and over west to Riverwalk and Bells Bend, Antioch, Nolensville, Bethesda, Thompson Station, all you folks down there. So, but let's zoom in real quick to Liberty Hill. This is what the velocity looks like around Liberty Hill. You see these blues here. This is where you get up into the 57, 58 to 60 mile per hour range on velocities. And that's right around Liberty Hill. That's right around Old Cox Pike. And it's crossing Old Cox Pike now. It'll be pushing over toward Michael Lankford Road, and there's your new radar scan there. Still some pretty gusty winds, about 57, 58 miles per hour, it looks like. Excuse me. They're around Old Cox Creek and Old Franklin Road, and then over to about to cross Highway 100 into Fairview. So that's where the strongest wind is now. And it looks like on this radar, still some gusty winds over there in Cheatham County, but on TBNA, it doesn't look quite as strong as what's down south. So this looks to be the main area of wind there around Fairview, Liberty Hill, Fairview High School. Let's go do this. There's a camera in Fairview that is awfully tilted currently from some previous windstorm weather, and we haven't straightened that thing up yet, but the strongest area of wind is actually, if you tilt your head just a little bit, you can see level, but you're looking at the football field there, Fairview High School, and the distance there is the high school. But if you tilt your head right, you can kind of see level. And the strongest winds of this storm actually look to be just down the road from the school. So you see a cell phone tower there blinking. Kind of behind that cell phone tower, it looks like some pretty gusty winds. So radar indicating they're around Walker Road. Could be some 60 mile per hour wind gusts there still indicated on radar about 1,400 feet up. So those could easily be reaching the surface. Not seeing anything there yet. but we're going to keep an eye on that. That's kind of on the front end of the rain, actually. That's on kind of the front end. It's not raining really hard, but the wind could be pretty gusty right on the front end of it. All right, let's go back over to radar here. In fact, let me take you over to this radar. And so the strongest wind is kind of out here in the very light, the blues and the greens. That's kind of where the strongest winds are being indicated, right on the front end of the storm. And then the heavy rain's not to, a few minutes behind it. But that's where the strongest winds look to be on radar as it crosses Highway 100 in the next few minutes. Looks like we do have a flash flooding problem going on. It could be soon. Looks like the Weather Service is going to issue a flash flood warning for southern Davidson and into northern Williamson counties. So you might get an alert for that. That's going to be a flash flood warning for southern Davidson and northern Williamson. And when that comes up, we'll show it on the radar for sure. Let's go back over to this radar here. We can see warnings a little bit better and get some information just off the screen. And let's see here. Yeah, we'll see when that comes out. So let's talk about how to send in your reports. We're really going to need your reports tonight. So if you could send in your reports, and you know the drill, I think. If you will just tweet using hashtag TSpotter. So just tweet some information. Tweet that you're seeing some flooding. Tweet that you're seeing trees down, some hail, maybe some wind damage, something like that. Let us know what you're seeing, and if it's something that we need to get to the Weather Service, we sure will. So hashtag TSpotter is the way to do that, and we'll get that over to the Weather Service. So just tweet, include the hashtag, and we'll take it from there. But we really appreciate your reports. Y'all are awesome at reports, so we really appreciate y'all doing that, and it works really well on nights like tonight. All right. Looks like the flash flood warning is coming out, and I'm going to get details on that. I'm going to check, see if I can get a feed going here that kind of went down. I'm going to see if I can get that going. Doesn't look like it. But anyway, looks like a flash flood warning coming out, and there's your polygon right there. So let me turn this off, and you can kind of see your green polygon. This is going to be a flash flood warning for Williamson and northern Davidson counties. Okay, so this is going to be a flash flood warning that's going to be effective until 12:30. So that will expire at 12:30 in the morning. But until then, we got a flash flood issue. Some really heavy rains coming down in Nashville. That includes downtown. It includes Brentwood. It includes Bellevue. It includes all the way over to Percy Priest Lake. So I've turned the radar off, and this is kind of what we're looking at here as far as... in fact, let me turn the severe thunderstorm warnings off, and there's your flash flood warning. All right, so turn the severe thunderstorm warnings off. So Brentwood, you're included in the flash flood warning. Nashville over to Bellevue. If you're in a low-lying area that typically floods when we get some of these really heavy storm rains, you got to get out of there. You got to get to higher ground. Okay, so if you typically flood in a flash flooding situation, you need to kind of make sure that you do what you need to do. Get to higher ground, get the cars out of the higher ground or to the higher ground, whatever your procedure is for if you're in a flood-prone area that's subject to flash flooding, go ahead and do what you need to do there. All right, turn the severe thunderstorm warnings back on. Let's get the radar back on. And we got a few things going on now. So we got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, and we got that flash flood warning. And I'm going to catch up and make sure I'm not missing anything here. And checking on one of my feeds here and just see if I can get that back going again. Get us some information from the Weather Service. All right. A lot of rain in southern Davidson County. Not only are you under a severe thunderstorm warning in southern Davidson, you're also included in the flash flood warning. So Bells Bend over to Bellevue, Belmead, Oak Hill, very heavy rain. These are folks over here that had some of that storm damage a little bit ago. So those of you outside kind of checking on that. You know, I know it's pouring down rain. Hopefully you guys are staying dry, but it could have a flash flooding issue there as well. Over to B&A, Colonial Village, Percy Priest Lake, Antioch. And then you haven't gotten a lot of rain, if any, down in Brentwood, Cool Springs, Nolensville, Burke Hollow, areas like that. But Fieldstone Farms, Grassland, areas like that. But you're under a flash flood warning because we got some heavy rains coming in. All right, so let's back out again. I'm gonna fix my feed that I was talking about here. Let me get that going just to make sure I can give you everything you kind of need to know from the Weather Service. Alrighty, there we go. Good deal. Boy, long night, guys. Long night. All right, we're looking at a lot here. Let's run through it real quick. All right, until 10:30 p.m., severe thunderstorm warning for far western Williamson County. Let's not even worry about that one right now because it's been replaced by a new severe thunderstorm warning that includes basically the same area and down to the east. So that's until 11 p.m. So that's this polygon right here. And that includes pretty much everything the old polygon did. That's until 11 p.m. And that's for strong winds back in eastern Dixon County right now, pushing to the southeast. That includes parts of southern Davidson County. The newest warning we have till 12:30 is a flash flood warning. That is for northern Williamson. That includes Brentwood and includes down to about Cool Springs and then goes up past downtown Nashville to about the 2465 split up north of town and back to the east and west. Okay, so good chunk of Davidson County there included in a flash flood warning, some street flooding being reported up in Metro. And so definitely a good call there for flash flooding because we do have some very heavy rain just sitting over Davidson County right now. In South Metro. All right. Tell you what, let's go look at TB&A. TB&A is going to give us a good read on the winds, and looks like the winds have come down a tad in western Williamson County. Let's hope that's the case. See those blues there around Burns, and then they kind of died off into some greens. So still some gusty winds there just west of Leapers Fork. Could still have some 50, 55, 58 mile per hour winds there north of Pinewood Road, or right there around Pinewood Road. But it looks like the velocities have come down just a shave, so that would be great. And some other decent velocities coming there through southern Cheatham County. Weather Service is noting torrential rainfall is affecting southern Davidson, and flooding is likely from Bellevue through Belmead, Green Hills, Oak Hill, Nippers Corner to Antioch. All right, it is pouring. All right, let's go back to our radar here and just show. You see all these reds. I mean, just a ton of red. That's there in southern Davidson, eastern Cheatham, and that's all moving sort of towards southern Davidson County. Let me go back to this radar. Sorry to be bouncing around on you here, but let's get this one going and put it in motion. And you can kind of see how the reds are kind of all converging there in the southern end of Davidson County, Brentwood, Franklin, Nolensville, over the next little bit. So really a lot of rain there in southern Davidson County. Take it seriously. Don't get caught out there. Don't get caught out there in the floodwaters. Looks like somebody is reporting here that they got rerouted. Rerouted over in the Hillwood area. Looks like power out in Inglewood. It's just going to kind of be one of those nights. It's going to be a mess. All right, catching up here on some other reports coming in. Yeah, a lot of reports of people seeing water on the road. All right, we don't want that. Do not drive through that. if you know somebody out driving around tonight, just really, really encourage them. Please don't drive through the flooded roadways. That's just a bad idea, for sure. All right, let's look at velocities. Could be some gusty winds around Leapers Fork. And again, same thing there in Cheatham County. Again, not seeing anything tornadic. Some of you have asked about that. We're really not seeing anything tornadic. This is classic straight line wind. But boy, just a ton of rain up there in Creve Hall. Creve Hall, Forest Hills, Bellevue, Kingston Springs, Bells Bend, Ashland City, Fairview, a whole lot of rain. All right, let's back out just a little bit. All right, so we're down to one severe thunderstorm warning and one flash flood warning. The severe thunderstorm warning expires at 11. So we'll see if they let that expire or if they extend that. So it's been extended and reissued once already. And that's for some gusty winds that we saw here around Fairview. And so they reissued the warning, and that's till 11 p.m. All right, so it looks like the Weather Service is going to continue that warning until 11. They just put that revision up there saying they're going to continue it till 11. And then also we got this flash flood warning till 12:30 up there in Davidson County. It also covers Cheatham if you happen to be watching from there, and then northern Williamson as well. And guys, we don't mess around with flooding. We've had flooding problems. We've covered some heartbreaking stuff from back in March, and we're not saying this is a repeat of that. We sure hope it's not, but that was a horrible flooding event, and so we take it seriously, and we know that flooding's a big deal. So this mainly seems like a situation where you don't want to be driving through flooded roadways. We've seen reports already of some flooding issues on the roads, and yeah, I already see some of you talking about the issues on Edmondson Pike that we saw back at the end of March, and that the creek doesn't look that high right now, so that's good news. But we got more rain coming in, so we hope that that creek stays down. But nonetheless, flash flood warning in effect for southern Davidson County, northern Williamson County. And if you have anybody out driving around, please urge them not to drive through flooded roadways. We've had too much rain. Definitely too much rain in the green polygon there. So let me turn the radar off, and you can see that. There's your green polygon. So hopefully you know where you are on a map. On severe weather days, we really encourage you to kind of know where you are. So know whether you are in Brentwood or downtown Nashville or Goodlettsville or Spring Hill or something like that. Just know where you are on a map, so that when we draw these, or we have these maps with polygons on them, you know whether you're inside the polygon or outside the polygon. It can make a big difference. So if you're inside the green one, you could see some flooding problems. That's what that means. Let's see here. Catching up, making sure my watch notifications aren't new warnings coming out. Doesn't look like it. Still a lot of lightning. A lot of lightning there in western Davidson County. Can't catch a break out there. Western and southern Davidson County. Go up in the storm here. I'm going to look at the core of the storm and see kind of where the heaviest parts are. Looks like there's a couple of heavy cores to the storm there in southern Davidson. So that kind of suggests it's not really, probably not dying down anytime real soon. And the core is not quite as high down here in Fairview, but it looks like definitely the heaviest cores to the storm are in right there in northern Williamson and southern Davidson counties. All right, let me check over on Twitter. David's talking about the flash flood warning. He's talking about some reports from Metro Nashville Police Department of a couple of feet of water in spots. So yeah, that's a big deal. You don't want to be driving through that at all. somebody's porch in Fairview is being pressure washed. So pretty wild in Fairview. All right, so there's your radar picture out of Fairview there. Yeah, a lot of wind, a lot of water for sure in Fairview. Let's go check TBNA. TBNA gives us a good read on the winds, and let's check that out. TBNA is still showing, it looks like, make sure this is up to date. No, this is not up to date. This is an old image, so we're not going to talk about it. Looks like the last image here was from about 10:30. I've got 10:37, so quite possible that this has changed. So we're not gonna. Let me reload that and just see if we get a new picture. But it looks like our TBNA image is a little old. Let's try to reload that, see what we get. Yeah, still an old image. All right, so let's stick with let's stick with our other radar here, and let's just kind of take what it's showing. So it looks like some maybe gusty winds there around Leapers Fork and Boston. Weather Service does note, though, I tend to think that the flash flooding threat here is probably the bigger issue of the two. We got that severe thunderstorm warning in effect. I'm not seeing anything crazy on velocities, so it makes me think that hopefully, the wind isn't as big of an issue in the severe thunderstorm warning, but the bigger issue right now seems to be the flash flood issue up in southern Davidson County. The Weather Service actually is very concerned. They're very concerned. They're noting here about the rain rates. They're in southern Davidson County, and flooding is likely across the warning area. Okay, so quite a bit of rain has fallen there, and let's see here. So just a couple areas to talk about. So, like, if I know you folks know where 7 Mile Creek is. But we kind of have, let me pull this up. This is, see that purple line there? Some of y'all had trouble with 7 Mile Creek back at the end of March. Well, this is the watershed for 7 Mile Creek. So if we start transitioning and talking about flash flooding, not saying 7 Mile Creek is going to have a flash flooding issue, although you are inside the warning. This is kind of how this works. So any rain that falls in this this purple line, anywhere that falls inside that's going to flow into 7 Mile Creek there near Ellington and Blackman Road and Edmondson Pike and all that. Same applies in other places. There's other watersheds for other creeks, okay? So basically what we see here is that there's very heavy rain falling inside that purple box for, that shape, that watershed. So there's very heavy rain falling there. So that's all going to flow into 7 Mile Creek. Now, the advantage that we have this time of year is that in the wintertime, the vegetation doesn't soak a lot of rain up. It pretty much all just runs off. We have, kind of a high tendency for flash flooding that time of year. In the summertime, the ground is drier. It can absorb a lot more water. Hopefully it can, but it looks like we are having some flash flooding issues and really a concerning amount of rain falling in different areas. So I'm just talking about 7 Mile Creek for just a second, just to let you know kind of how that works. But we look at these different basins to see where the heavy rain is falling and where that water is going to go. So you got like the Little Harpeth Basin down here. You have the Harpeth out here in Bellevue. You got a lot of creeks and streams in there, and there's a lot of creeks and streams here in Creve Hall that flow into 7 Mile Creek. But that's kind of how we determine what creeks and stuff could have issues is by looking at these different basins. So the Weather Service is thinking that this rain could be an issue for some of these basins. And so in southern Davidson, it looks like we're going to have a problem there. Weather Service is talking about over in their notes that some of the levels in Cheatham and southern Davidson are up at the possibly the 100-year flood level, just as far as the rain amounts falling. So again, very, very heavy rain coming down that could cause some a problem. All right, so but that's just an estimate of the rainfall falling. Okay, we're not talking about rivers being that high. So flash flood warning nonetheless continues until 12:30, and that is and then we got that severe thunderstorm warning hanging around till I think 11 o'clock. Is that right? Yeah, 11 p.m. Okay. Let's go over and look at TBNA. Let's check on that severe thunderstorm warning again, and I'm still not getting updates from TBNA. So we're going to consider it offline for a while, and we'll get our velocity data elsewhere just to kind of see how that's going. Not seeing anything too concerning on velocities. Hopefully the severe thunderstorm portion of that is kind of toned down. So hopefully the wind velocities aren't going to be a big deal in Williamson County. But nonetheless, the warning continues for about another 15 or 20 minutes. All right, but the main message, we want to continue hitting this flash flood warning. I'm going to turn the radar off, and you can kind of see here where the flash flood warning is. If you're inside that polygon, I can't stress enough, please be careful if you're out traveling. If you're in a flood-prone area, in fact, I just wouldn't travel at all. Please don't. It's just really a bad time to get out in southern Davidson County and northern Williamson. But if you do, if you're in a flood-prone area in a place that's subject to flash flooding, just please be extremely careful and take whatever precautions you need to protect yourself. Get to higher ground, get away from the flood-prone areas, get away from the creeks that can overflow their banks. And odds are you probably kind of know where that is, where you live. You know those areas that can flood. Well, if you have neighbors that might be asleep right now, that you know that they are right down by the creek and that they can have some flooding problems, either on their cars or their house or something like that, let them know that there's a real flooding threat in southern Davidson County and northern Williamson County within the green polygon here. That's the main message right now, is about the flash flood threat. So, yeah, David's mentioning over there on Twitter that flooding is concerning. Rainfall rates are exceptional from downtown down to the south into northern Williamson County. Excuse me, and the storms are not in a hurry. Not in a hurry at all. Excuse me just a second. All right. A lot of lightning, too. Still a lot of lightning out there in Bellevue, Temple Hills, Grassland, Cottonwood, Laurelbrook. A lot of lightning out there. And I'll tell you what, we really would like to know if you're experiencing any flooding. Let's talk about reports again. We got to keep hitting this. We need to know what you're seeing out there, if you've got any flood-prone areas that are flooding. So if you're able to safely let us know, what kind of flooding situation you're seeing, let us know about that. Tweet using hashtag TSpotter. Send us a picture if you can. It's really not a great time to take pictures, but if anything, just maybe let us know where you are, what creek or stream or something like that you are near, that you see flooding on. Just let us know any pertinent information, and we'll get that over to the Weather Service. We're very interested about the flooding situation in Metro and northern Williamson County. All right, let's go over and look at, I'm going to see if I can still get some a Brentwood camera or two to fire up. Well, this is a City of Brentwood camera. This is Granny White Pike and Bell Reeve Drive. A lot of lightning, a lot of rain. It's pouring. So that's Granny White Pike and Bell Reeve, and just coming down in sheets. See if we can get a couple of other cameras working here. Well, this is one we've used for flooding before. It just does a good job of, you got the telephone and internet there, wires there right in the middle of it, but just pouring down right there, Franklin Road and Maryland Way. So this is right at Church Street, and you see the wind-driven rain there. It's just pouring in Brentwood. So just a ton of rain coming down. It's just brutal to drive in. People using their hazard lights to drive. It's very possible that you could encounter flooded roads if you're out driving tonight around Brentwood. So we got to watch the Little Harpeth there on the south end of town that goes through there, right there where the YMCA in Brentwood, areas like that honestly typically flood and have issues with that. We just got to watch areas like that in Brentwood and all the way up into southern Davidson and western Davidson too, areas that typically flood. We just got to kind of keep an eye on that tonight. I'm gonna look at some other cameras here, see what else we can get going. That's, again, you're looking at Franklin Road, Maryland Way, and Church Street. That right behind this camera is that BP gas station. So that's directly behind the camera on the corner there. But you can just see, man, it's coming down in sheets. So just a ton of rain coming down. Let's look at, let's check another couple of cameras here. How about, well, I'm not able to get quite a few of the cameras, but that's okay. Let's go back to radar. How about that? And man, just still red, just a ton of red. So the rain is not letting up at all. Not letting up. All right, so let's reiterate. We got to reiterate here. We got a flash flood warning in effect until 12:30, and that's for Davidson and Williamson, and that is for tremendously heavy rainfall coming into both counties. That's for the tremendously heavy rainfall falling from Brentwood, Creve Hall, Antioch, Bells Bend, Bellevue, Pasco, areas like that. It's really, really coming down. In fact, give me just a second. I got to send a message here just right quick to somebody that I think lives in a flood-prone area. So I need to let them know about that. Sorry about that. Mercy. If you need a Wake Me Up app, there's Stormwatch Plus, and it's a good Wake Me Up app for sure. All right, the rain quickly spreading through Cool Springs and quickly spreading through McKay's Mill. Maybe it'll get a move on it and get out of Forest Hills, Creve Hall, and Brentwood. We need it to get out of there pretty quickly. So it looks like the Weather Service may extend the severe thunderstorm warning, and not sure if that'll include more of our counties or not. Not real sure. All right, so the heaviest rain now from Brentwood into the subdivisions east of Brentwood, and they're east of town. I'm going to show you the Midtown camera, man. They're getting beat up with lightning again. And so heaviest rain, I'll just talk to you about it here on radar. Forest Hills, Brentwood, Franklin, McKay's Mill, Sullivan Farms, Williamson County Fairgrounds, Nolensville. That's where the heaviest rain is right now. And over to Creve Hall and Antioch. And Bellevue, still some very heavy rain. And I'm just looking here on radar. There's like right around the Midtown camera here, there's probably 30 lightning strikes just within about a mile of the Midtown camera. So you may see some pretty impressive lightning on this camera here in just a second. But anyway, but the biggest threat looks right now to be with the flash flooding. And so the flash flooding in southern Davidson and northern Williamson could be a real thing. Somebody says, RIP our trampoline. Uh-oh. Yeah, we know what that's like. All right, you're looking at Midtown. Let's go back over to radar. Oh, back over here to radar. just a lot of red, a lot of red. So we need this storm to move southeast. So sorry for you folks in College Grove, Nolensville, but we really need y'all to get the rain and not up here in southern Davidson County, northern Williamson. So we really don't need it to stay there any longer. So, yeah, a lot of lightning now around Nolensville, around McKay's Mill as well, Franklin, Cool Springs, and down to the Ag Center. So it looks like that's where most of the lightning now is pivoting. Let's go up in the storm, and let's kind of look at where the cores are to it. It looks like there's a heavy core of the storm there aloft. That's up at about 16,000 feet there just west of Nolensville. There's probably going to be quite a bit of lightning come out of that. And also down there, and man, Midtown's still getting beat up with lightning. I'm watching off screen, man, I tell you, they're just getting a ton. And then also strong storms there, strong core to the storm there, just east of I-65, pushing east. And I'm going to let you watch the Midtown camera just for a second, and I'll be right back. I need to go check on something here in the house, and I'll be right back in just a second. All right, back with you here on Radar. We're looking at a new severe thunderstorm warning now that's been issued. We're getting quite a lot of polygons going on here. So we got Franklin off to the east. We got a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect till let's see, about 11:30. All right, so severe thunderstorm warning has been extended to the east, and that is for a new polygon there. That's from basically Franklin down to the southeast. That's until 11:30, and glad to see we're still on. We take some power hits at my house, and but it looks like we're doing okay as far as that goes. Looks like we're still up and running. So we'll just keep cranking here for a little while. So Brentwood's still some very heavy rain. Still some heavy rain in Crevehall, Forest Hills, Nolensville, Franklin, McKay's Mill. Really just a lot of lightning. So we'll just stay on here as long as we can. We're getting pretty beat up at my house too. And so you can see the, we'll just stay on as long as we can with the lightning and wind going on outside our place. All right, so it looks like the strongest winds now around Thompson Station, Buckner Road, Cherry Grove, Longview Elementary. Looks like that's where the strongest winds are there, around 65 and 840. But we're not at a great read to the radar on this, so it's a little hard to tell, and TBNA is not reporting right now. So, but I can tell you the wind is blowing very hard, actually at my house. So the line here is is still got some really gusty winds with it, all up and down the line. All right. See if we got any other cameras working. We still got this flash flood warning. This is sort of a big deal. In fact, I'm gonna look at a video here. Somebody sent me a video on my phone actually, and I'm gonna see what they're showing, because this is in kind of a flood-prone area. Yeah, looks like some a little bit of flash flooding up there, kind of around the Ellington Agriculture Center area up there. So yeah, it looks like it's pretty bad as far as the flash flooding goes. All right, looks like some trees down Bell's Bend area, and so wind definitely an ordeal up there in Bell's Bend a little bit ago. Yeah, David mentions over on Twitter that Eastern Williamson County has a new severe thunderstorm warning, and that's this one we were just talking about, and that goes way on into Bedford County too, but it does cover us here in Eastern Williamson County, and that's until 11:30. Tons of lightning in Eastern Williamson County. Big lightning producer now, coming into Nolensville down to Arrington, Nestledown Farms, Page High School, and there's a big old core to the storm right there around Page High School and up around Nolensville. Some big cores aloft, so definitely going to be around for a little while. Definitely produce a lot of lightning and maybe some small hail. They're around Nolensville, east of I-65. We need this thing to move on. We need it to get out of these flood-prone areas up in southern Davidson County, for sure. We need it to move along. Looking at some reports here. Yeah, we're getting the lightning, for sure. I don't know if you can hear that over the mic, but it's pretty close. Okay. Maybe some small hail falling around Page High School. Could have some hail with that. Y'all are doing great with the reports. I'm just watching, and it looks like, the feed has got stuff coming in about every 1 to 3 minutes. And that's really cool. So send in reports. So, we'll get those over to the Weather Service. I'm reading some questions too here. Somebody's talking about the risk of tornadoes. They're seeing a tornado warning back in Henderson County. That's way back to our west. And yeah, we see that too. That's way on out there. That's in West Tennessee, on the other side of the Tennessee River. That's not really near us. So we'll keep an eye on that as it comes toward Middle Tennessee. But for right now, we don't see that as a big threat to us at the moment. But if that changes, we'll let you know. But we don't see anything tornadic right now. Our storms right here are purely wind producers, straight line wind producers. And it looks like there is a sort of an area of gusty winds here stretching from around Smyrna down through Nolensville, Bethesda, Spring Hill. So it looks like some gusty winds there for sure. And lots of lightning. Lots of lightning. So still definitely some heavy rain up in Crieve Hall, Forest Hills. It's slackened off in Bellevue. That doesn't mean the flooding threat is gone. That just means hopefully there's not much more heavy rain to pile on to what's already fallen. So hopefully it just means that it's mercy. I'm telling you, we're just getting bombarded with lightning. Looks like we're still connected though. I can almost feel that one. Anyway, but it looks like the heaviest rain is now definitely in Williamson County, but a lot of lightning up in southern Davidson County, though, still. So still definitely some good cores to the storm up there. Flash flooding really is a big problem here in southern Davidson County. So once again, please send us your reports as you see any flash flooding. Seeing a lot of reports of trees snapped in various areas, so definitely a wind thing too. All right, I'm going to leave the radar on here for just a second. I have to go let an animal in the house. I think all of y'all would agree that I should do that. So I'll be right back. All right, the cat's inside. All is well. All right, still some very heavy rain in southern Davidson County. Well, we just need to keep reiterating this. Somebody's reporting here 4 inches of rain south of 440, north of Woodmont, and had to empty the gauge there because it just goes to 4 inches. So at least 4 inches of rain being measured there south of 440, and that's a lot of rain. I'm going to pull up a different product here, and it'll help us to see rain accumulations. Let's do that, and then I'll let's switch over to that actually real quick. All right, so this is a product showing over the last hour how much rain has fallen over the last hour, and we're looking at 3 to 4 inch totals here, especially over southwestern Davidson County. Let me go to the 12-hour product, and that's not nearly as up to date, but the 1 hour product here certainly is. So kind of a swath of heavy rain back from southern Cheatham County, Davidson County, over into around Smyrna, but definitely a bullseye over the last hour looks to be right there around Charlotte Pike and west of Oak Hill. Looks to be where some really heavy rain has fallen over the last hour. Let's go back to the current radar, and certainly we can see, hopefully it moves out of here. Looks like the heaviest now is crossing I-65 up in Davidson County, and so that would hopefully mean that this is starting to move out. So as it crosses I-65 and moves east, areas like Belmead, Forest Hills, Riverwalk, Bellevue starting to lighten up there some. So you got light to maybe moderate rain there, and then the heaviest rain there is from like Berry Hill, the 440-65 junction there, Oak Hill off to the east. So, but man, hopefully that gets out of there pretty soon. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Williamson County. That's still 11:30, and that's for this storm that is coming through Williamson County in a noisy fashion right now. And so that is for the wind producer, the hail producer there in Williamson County. Somebody reports 2.79 inches so far in Bellevue in the southwestern corner of Davidson County. So, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 inch rain. Fall totals not unheard of tonight for sure. All right. Taking a look at that rain accumulation product again. I'm going to see if there's an updated image of that. Let me back it up a little bit, and you can kind of see how that progresses over the last hour, kind of moving southeast, the core of it. So the bullseye was kind of in southwestern Davidson County. Wouldn't doubt if that kind of shifts east over time, where you got estimates of 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 inches of rain as that pushes off to the southeast. We'll just have to see what the rain totals end up being. But the reports are pretty high. All right, waiting for our new radar update. Hopefully will come pretty soon. We're getting radar updates about every 5 minutes here, so hopefully we'll get a new one here pretty soon. Let's see, we're still not getting updates from TBNA. I'm over here looking off to the side to see if we can get some updated velocity data. Unfortunately, it looks like TBNA is not reporting, so they may have had a power or communications outage there at the radar site. Not real sure, but not getting updates from it. And if we back out a little bit on the radar, yeah, you guys, some of y'all are asking about that tornado warning out in West Tennessee. That's West Tennessee. We're not going to worry about that till it gets a little closer. I hate it for the folks out there, but that is not in effect for us, and it's not generally aimed at us. So we're not going to worry about that now. Our weather's been coming from up northwest of us, and as where all these storms have been coming from. So not even sure that'll hold together. We're not familiar with what's going on out there, but yeah, those of you asking about the tornado warning in West Tennessee, we're not in any way concerned about that right now as far as our area goes. This is all a straight line wind thing. So it looks like strongest winds now down just around Bethesda, around College Grove, areas like that. Could be some gusty winds. All right, just taking a look at velocity data here. Still detecting a pretty intense core right above like College Grove, Triune, the 31A, 41A split there. We're looking here at about 18,000 feet up, and pretty impressive core there. And so really what that means, that may not make it to the ground at one time, but that, you know, it means that the storm's pretty healthy, pretty strong as it moves out to the east. We really just want, you know, the main thing is we just really want this heavy rain to get out of here. We really, really do. So especially out of the Creve Hall area, 7 Mile Creek watershed there, Forest Hills, Bellevue, Antioch, Mill Creek, we just want it to get out of here. And that's the best thing we can hope for right now. We'll take some thunder and lightning, but we got to get this rain out of here. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect. Let me double check the time on that. It looks like 11:30 is when that expires. So another 20 minutes on that. Looks like we actually have a note from the Weather Service about TBNA. And looks like they say it will be down until further notice. So I guess we won't be using TBNA. Well, it was nice while it lasted. Helped us out a lot today. All right, a lot of lightning up around Hermitage now. So the heavy rain up around Hermitage producing quite a bit of lightning. And over toward Mount Juliet, that'll be moving into Wilson County's area here pretty soon, or it actually is right now. But very heavy rain, a lot of lightning up there, but not severe. But down in the Williamson County areas where we could see the severe weather out of the storm moving into Rutherford. So it looks like around Holt's Corner. Now this is about 2,300 feet up. It's still seeing some winds possible in the 50, 55 mile per hour range. That's right inside Marshall County, but it could be indicative of what we could see up and down the line. When the line came through at my place, it was pretty strong. Could hear the winds from inside the house. So it was howling pretty good. But it looks like 55, 56 miles per hour is possible there. Now it looks like a new flash flood warning is coming out. And that's going to be for Davidson, Rutherford, Wilson. So what it looks like they're going to do is they're going to extend this off to the east, and this should probably fill in with a flash flood warning here in just a little bit. So it does not include Williamson, but it does include Davidson, Rutherford, Wilson. So that'll be here in just a little bit. You'll see another green polygon pop up there. For a flash flood warning. So go look at another Storm Prediction Center is considering issuing some kind of a watch down in this area here. This would be to our south. But they're watching, a couple of y'all were talking about the strong storms in West Tennessee. They're watching those. Storm Prediction Center could possibly issue some sort of a small watch down in southern Middle Tennessee. We'll have to see about that. It's too early to call that, but just got that note a second ago and wanted to check on that and see what it was. Here's that flash flood warning. This goes over into very far eastern Davidson County. So basically, it covers what the other warning did not. And so basically, goes right over into Wilson and into Rutherford County. So new flash flood warning there. Let me turn the lightning off for just a second. Let's kind of do an overview of our warnings. All right, here is the warning map. And I'm just going to, that's West Tennessee over there. We're going to kind of hide that for a minute and just focus on our area. So we have 2 flash flood warnings, one here and one here. And then we have a severe thunderstorm warning down here. So basically east of I-65 in Williamson is under the severe thunderstorm warning until 11:30. The flash flood warning up in Nashville is in effect until 12:30. That's for southern Davidson, northern Williamson counties. And then a new flash flood warning over for the far eastern tip of Davidson and over into Wilson and Rutherford counties. That's in effect until 2 a.m. All right, so we have 3 warnings in effect. The flash flood or the severe thunderstorm warning will go away first here in about 15 minutes, if not before. And then we'll be left with these flash flood warnings. But please don't drive through stuff that is unsafe water-wise. If water's running over the road, please just don't drive through it. It's just not safe, not worth it at all. Yeah, David's mentioning over on Twitter about that the SPC note we were just talking about, and how it looks like it will be south of Williamson County. So we hope that is the case. Looking at the T-spotter feed, looks like we may have a tree on a house around west of Eagleville. So pretty gusty winds down there we were just looking at. Let's go to the velocities. And yeah, over there west of Eagleville, this is where, again, we're at kind of a bad radar angle. So we're not going to get the bright colors that we would if the wind was heading directly for the radar site. And so west of Eagleville here, it may not look too bad, but it looks like we could have had a severe enough winds to bring down a tree over there west of Eagleville. Okay, so that's some pretty strong gusty winds that just pushed through eastern Williamson County and western Rutherford County. But it looks like the strongest winds now have pushed out of Williamson. So we'll see if they remove Williamson from the warning. Let's go back over to the rainfall estimates here. These are 1 hour rainfall estimates here around Oak Hill, Forest Hills. In 1 hour, 2.72 inches, 2.8 inches. Those are radar estimates. Just incredible. Incredible heavy rain. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's jump off of YouTube Live. Guys, it's been a long night. I'm sorry for those of you that had outdoor plans tonight. That just wasn't fun. But, man, we got some weather came through here. Hope you were all safe. I know some of you have damage. I'm sorry about that. But we right now we'll just kind of keep an eye on the flash flooding and what's going on. We'll also keep an eye on what's going on out in West Tennessee. We think that'll be south of Williamson County once it moves into Middle Tennessee, but we'll keep an eye on it too. And so we'll be watching a few different things, but no need to be on YouTube Live right now. We think the strongest winds have moved over into Rutherford County and have moved out of Williamson County. So with that, we're going to go ahead and pull down the YouTube Live and just cover over on Twitter. But feel free, please send us your reports and let us know what you're seeing outside, any flooding, any damage reports that you may find tomorrow morning. Go ahead and send those to us tomorrow morning. If you're out and about and you see some damage that you think may not have been reported, just go ahead and send that to us and use hashtag TSpotter, and we will get that over to the Weather Service. Guys, it's been a long night, but thanks for being with us here on YouTube Live, and hope you have a good, safe night. We'll talk to you later.